All right, so let's do a couple passes from this butterfly position. We're gonna start with this attack position that we've been kind of working from the bottom. So let's work on a pass from here and then another kind of similar pass. So this is a pass I call the wheel pass. And it's extremely effective if you do it right. You can certainly mess this one up, but it's a pretty slick pass if you do it right. So what I'm gonna do first is, Michelle's got this deep underhook, right? I need to make sure that she doesn't get control of this arm because she's got good head position, she's got her underhook. If she gets control of that arm, I'm probably gonna go for a ride and end up on my back over there, right? And I really don't want that to happen. So the first thing, my main number one priority is really just keeping this hand away from somewhere she can grab it and pull it around her hip, okay? So just keep it out of the way for now. If you wanna put it back behind your back, whatever. My right hand, I'm kind of just gonna concede the fact that I can't get in my own underhook, right? I really wanna pummel and get back to the inside. At very least, I would love to get my head on the inside, but that's super hard to do if she has the underhook, right? I don't wanna whiz her, I don't wanna bring my arm through this way and overhook, right? Because the second I start doing that, she can get a grip on my sleeve, limp arm her own arm out, and now she's back in the arm drag position, which is still no good for me. So, I'm just gonna concede the fact that I can't get my underhook. I don't want to push away and stuff because we have a solution for that from the bottom. I'm going to reach across with my hand and get a grip on the far side of her body somewhere, okay? I have long arms. I personally really like to reach the belt in this one. The belt's strong for me because my arms are long. If your arms are a little bit shorter, that doesn't feel right for you, by all means grab up closer to the shoulder, even on the shoulder, whatever feels right. The lat is really strong. If this was a no-gi kind of situation, I'd probably just hook the lat like this, okay? But I want this arm to be all the way across to the far hip for a very specific reason, right? My next step, I'll tell you that in a minute. My next step, I'm gonna lift this foot up off the ground, okay? If I step this foot up, it's gonna be harder for her to sweep me in this direction if she does get a hand on my sleeve right now, because at least I have some kind of a post on that side. I can kind of block the sweep from happening, at least a little bit, okay? But I want to make sure I step this foot up far enough that she can't hook it with her leg and she can't grab it with her arm, right? She can't reach it, that's exactly what I want. If she can grab it like maybe here, that's not too bad for me. But the main thing is I don't want her to like hook underneath it or anything like that, okay? And I'll explain that later. So I'm reaching across the back, I'm trying to grab the belt on the far hip, and this foot is stepped up. So now that this foot is up, I'm not too concerned with her grabbing onto my hand. So I'm gonna reach in and get a grip on her knee. And I like to get a palm up grip for this technique, all right? If you get a palm down grip, the technique still works just the same, but the problem is the palm down grip is much easier for her to break. She can break this grip real simply because my fingers are facing away from the direction she's gonna break the grip. If she pulls my grip towards her, she's gonna rip it right out of my fingers. But if I use a palm up grip on the same piece of fabric, now when she pulls my hand, she's pulling into the grip, which is just reinforcing my grip, okay? So I've got my foot away, palm up grip on the far knee, and a grip across on the far hip, all right? So what we're gonna do is basically steer her around, and I'm gonna drop to my right shoulder and my right hip, okay? So it kinda looks like this. When I pull my right elbow down towards the mat, what's gonna happen, I'm gonna lift my left arm up a little bit, and it's gonna kinda pick her feet up, but it's gonna put her up in this seated position where she's up on her butt, so she really doesn't have much connection with the floor except for this foot a little bit right now. And as I continue that spin, I can spin her kind of like a top, okay? So I'm gonna spin her around in a circle and I'm gonna drop down to my right side. So I can get my head underneath her head as fast as possible. And that's one of the keys for this and almost every other pass is getting your head under their head, below their head, quickly. And then once you've done that, then you can go up to your knees or go to any other side control position you want. Try to do it slow a couple times, but it makes more sense when you do it faster. So she gets in, she's really tight, right? I have no chance of getting a good frame back with this hand. So I concede, get a grip on that far belt, okay? Step my leg up, reach in and get this knee grip, okay? So as I spin her, all of my weight right now is dumped into my right knee, and this left foot is pretty light. And I want it that way because I'm gonna be dropping to my right side and lifting her feet up. But as I'm dropping, I'm gonna pinch my elbow down like this. Okay, so it's kind of like if you were staring up a school bus, the big wheel, okay? This arm goes down, this arm goes up, and I'm turning her around. Okay, palm up grip, I spin, turn, and I drop down, and I drop my head in right away. Now if I want, I can continue to punch her leg away so she can't turn back to face me so easily. And then I can switch, get up to both knees, and be in a good side control position. She's in tight. Keep underhook, right? Bad for me, right? So I'm reaching across, right? For me, like I said, the belt feels good, but just experiment with the grips. I know Michelle likes this grip a little bit better, because sometimes you can pull the shoulder down a little better, which is pretty strong. Right? Either way, whatever feels better for you, I want you guys to figure that out on your own. If you have a bad shoulder on this side and you're the person on the bottom, you're probably gonna wanna let go of that grip as you're drilling this, because what happens is when I pinch this elbow in, it starts to open her shoulder, and like an Americana, it can be uncomfortable repeatedly and start to give you early arthritis, which is not. So I step my foot up, reach into the knee, right? I'm dropping my head down as I'm pulling down with my elbow and lifting up with my hand to rotate her onto her side, right? Punching this leg away so she can't face me so easily, and then I can switch to my knees and get to the top, okay? But the head position is one of the keys for this and the next technique. I can't stress enough. If you stay on the outside, right? Some people try to do this, and it works when you're drilling because the person's not fighting back, and stay on both knees and kind of just do this, right? But the problem is in this position here, her head's on the inside, right? Which means she's gonna frame on the inside, which means she's gonna keep me from invading the box, get back to her guard, okay? So I need to separate that by putting my head in that position as quickly as I can. Any questions on the wheel pass? Let's do it. 1, 2, 3. All right, cool. So really quick, I mentioned about not stepping that foot up too close, right? And this is why. So if Michael's doing this technique to me, first off, don't grab the pants before you step up on the leg. All right, always try to set that up first, okay? So bring it in a little closer. I don't want you guys to have it too close for a couple reasons, okay? Because number one, sometimes when you're spinning the person, like I might be able to like hook this, right? And then if he's not going to be able to step it out, it's going to be hard. Like I might actually be able to use that rhythm kind of sweep or recovery or something. It's just going to slow you down on top, and it's going to make your life a lot harder, and it's not worth it. But if it's really close, right, and like he hasn't even started yet, you might get some relatively advanced people. Like I know for a fact if you got in this position against like Damien or somebody, they're instantly going to go to X guard, right? They'll pull underneath, they'll dive under, pull, roll you on top, switch to an X guard, and now you've got this guard to deal with, which sucks. There's so many sweeps and submissions and stuff from that position that you just don't want to end up in something, a different guard, because you tried a pass and forgot like one minor detail, right? So really try and step that leg up, step it out of the way. It's only going to help you in the long run, okay? All right, thanks. All right, so next pass. This is a very similar pass to that wheel one we just did, except it follows a little bit different set of concepts. Instead of trying to spin Michelle on this one, I'm not going to spin her at all. This time I'm going to basically stretch her in half and bend her spine a lot and just kind of make it uncomfortable and make it hard for her to move her feet. I like to do this pass from standing, right? And you can start low or you can start standing, it's totally up to you. But the first grip that we're gonna get is on the back of the jacket. I can grab this tuft of fabric that's back here, right? That's right in the middle of the spine. Or I can put my thumb in and grab the lapel right in the middle of the spine, all right? I wanna be as close to the back of her head with my grip as possible because I need to control her head ultimately, okay? So this is a cool pass because instead of spinning like a top, what I'm gonna do is use this grip, pull my elbow down next to her head, kind of like a collar tie, like Muay Thai or wrestling even, right? So I'm bringing my elbow down, I'm pulling my elbow down to the ground. But what happens when I pull my elbow down to the ground is it makes her feet extremely heavy on the mat because her shoulders are so close to her feet. She doesn't have any flexibility or range of motion left. So when she tries to pick her feet up to follow me, they don't move. She has to use her hands to pick her own feet up. Like that's gonna make her very slow as far as defending her guard. Okay, so the first thing I wanna do is dump all of her weight into her feet by pulling down. And I'm pulling down with my elbow. I'm not pushing down like this. It's very important my elbow's down. And I'm hanging my elbow and my weight off of the back of her neck, basically, and upper shoulders, all right? As I'm doing that, I'm also gonna bring my head on the other side. So pretty much ear to ear, my head's on the other side. Because just like the last pass, in order to be really effective, I need to get my head below hers and get it on her chest as fast as possible, all right? So once I have this all set up here, I got my elbow down. First off, make sure your legs are far back again. You don't want them to grab onto your legs. You don't want them to like dummy sweep or something if they scoot in and hook your legs and sweep you backwards. Yeah, it's really embarrassing. You don't want that to happen. So make sure you're far away. So I'm not really gonna engage with Michelle. Maybe I'll like touch her feet and make her start looking down, and then I'll get this grip and dump her weight into her hands and her feet, right? But I'm still far enough away, I'm kind of sprawling a little bit, like piking downward so she can't lift her feet up and grab my feet, right? Now I'm gonna get a grip on this knee just like before, except this time it doesn't matter what grip you get. The faster grip to get is fingers towards you, right? I'm not worried about her breaking this grip this time. So I'm gonna go right away. What I'm gonna do is punch this leg down to the mat, real strong, and then I'm gonna pull opposingly. I'm pushing this one down, I'm gonna pull this elbow down to the mat to pull her sideways like this, okay? But what happens is I'm pushing that knee and I'm pulling her spine this way, it's gonna twist her spine, and she's not gonna be able to do either of those things comfortably. And then I'm gonna continue to walk around the side, put my head in place, and pass the guard. So I'm here nice and heavy, head's in tight, elbows pulling down, grip on the knee. I'm gonna circle away, sprawling, like really far away, and drive in, and get to the side. So what we're trying to accomplish on this one, turn out a little bit. When I'm pulling down and pinning this leg should get very heavy. So by the time I'm past her legs, she's not gonna be able to lift up her leg very well and like hook me with it or put her knee in front or anything like that. So it gets really hard for her to move this leg because I'm dumping all of her weight into that leg, so it's kind of stuck underneath her, okay? This is gonna stop her from being able to turn this way and come up to face me by keeping her twisted. It's really effective. Just make sure you're getting your head under there as early as possible to solidify your pass. Okay? So as I'm sprawling and walking around really far away, I'm starting to tuck my head under hers, under, and then drive her to her back. Okay? It's one of those very simple passes that doesn't seem like it would work, but I use this all the time. Very effective. But it's all about that head position. Now, it does help too when you're passing around to go a little bit further than side control. So if I go a little bit more of an angle towards her head, you'll find that you actually have a little bit better results. So I'm here, head's on the side. So as I circle around and pin this leg out, if I get a little bit past like this, you don't have to be totally on the side. This is actually better because I can create better pressure with my shoulder and I can be further away from her legs, so it's much harder for her to reach me to recover back to my guard, or her guard. If I just stop here and I take away my pressure on this leg, she's gonna start framing, making some space, and potentially getting the guard back. Okay, so if you wanna go a little further, the north-south will have really good results with that. Any questions on this one? I'm driving, yeah, it's hard to explain. My head is like going under, like I'm trying to scoop my head under hers as I pull her down and get it under, so I'm pushing her with my head a little bit in my shoulder to get her on her back. Okay, let's do it. 1, 2, 3. Pretty good. The only issue that I'm seeing is a lot of you guys are way too upright and you're too close to your partner, all right? So what's gonna happen if you're too close to the person you're trying to pull down to the ground is you're not gonna be able to pull this shoulder down to the ground at all, right? You're just kind of just doing this. Look, she's gonna follow me all day long if I don't make it so she can't follow me, all right? It's just not gonna work. I wanna be as far away, like sprawl back and like you're diving into this position. So at the beginning, I might not be super far away, but like as I'm running around, like, I'm getting like I'm really low. Like I'm so low I have to go to my knee to stop and talk to you. The lower I come in, the more effective this is going to be. So really try to almost flatten yourself out and spike yourself in there. If you're standing up, I promise you this pass will never work. If it does, the person that you did it to really sucks, right? So if I'm here she's gonna be able to move, she's gonna be able to hook me, she's gonna be able to grab my leg, she's gonna be able to reposition. You know, I mean, there's so many things she can do because she's directly underneath me, right? I need to get my hips as far away from hers as possible to make that work. Okay? Let's do a couple more and keep that in mind, all right? 1, 2, 3.